So I'm using a ratchet strap to get the suspension to half of the travel. So, and a lot of people was concerned that the frame was going to smack this triangulated support, this heim joint, but it will not. Even at half travel, it's still several inches away, and this only has about 2.5 inches of travel, so it'll never collide with the frame. We set it up in that way. We tested everything before doing so. So we got the suspension squatted down halfway. We're going to do square tubing and rectangle tubing down here, round tubing up here to match the theme of the body. Some people ask me why I didn't build a round tube swing arm. We actually did on the last semi-independent. You can look at that, but to me, this doesn't take away from the looks with the sharp angles because you're not seeing much of this once the engine and everything's mounted to it. So it's way easier and faster to make it out rectangle, in my opinion. So that's why we did it like that. So now that we got a halfway in the travel, we're going to do the round tubing first up here. I've already notched this 90 that you just saw me bend. So this piece is going to weld in right here, and then I'm going to bring another piece from over here to strengthen it so nothing will ever bend it. And we're, like I said, we're setting it at half travel and making our panhard bar perfectly straight at half travel. Okay, so that's how it's going to drop down. I know it looks kind of weird, but once these are just scrap pieces I had. I'm going to angle cut it to keep the whole angle look back here, and that's how it'll be. It'll be strong enough to give us a down turning spot to put our heim joint tabs. Somewhere's right in here, wherever they line up with this one. This one will weld on, then I'll line everything up with this side. But I will be angle cutting it with an angle grinder. You know, to get everything level. I did this one, angle cut it, and I'm going to cap that pipe off right there. But I think it looks pretty good. It's unique, and the reason I'm having to do this because this corner's rounded and the corner down there is square, so they're not going to line in. I don't want to sink this one in because that gets the panhard bar closer to the engine. I just want to leave a lot of room back here for activities. Moment of truth. And we can adjust this panhard bar if we need to align the rear end, if that makes any sense. I'm so scared. Alright. Now we don't have that wiggle. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
Keep going in my dreams. I mean, stand up on there.
That's sick though. There's no movement. He'll jump in the floor pan. So Braxton's jumping in it. Well, that's going to do off front, but do it at the back. You got it. You got it.
Oh gosh.
As you can see, it's pretty sick. And do it again. Yeah, Braxton's getting at about half of its travel right there.
I only weigh like 140 pounds.
Yeah, he weighs half of what I do. Bless his heart. Okay, yeah, this will be the testament. Hey, that's almost bobbing out the shocks. Keep on doing it. And that isn't nowhere close to bobbing out. The camera doesn't do it justice. Keep on. Okay, go. So, good, great, grand. Love it.
got electrocuted and you got burned.
So, Daniel, what we've been doing is finishing touches. Daniel got this brake setup done. You guys saw him tacking it on. Really nice. And we cut the flange off of this, the little original holder, because I wanted bearings, and I want this to be able to take it apart. So, Go Power Sports actually milled this up for us, or threw this on a lathe and put 3/4 inch bearings. We was going to use this for swing arm pivot points. But anyways, we got a Go Power Sports steering wheel. We're kind of using 2 U-joints down there, one on the rack, and then we're going to weld this one. We're going to cut this 3/4 inch rod stock off, and it'll bolt. So basically, to remove it, you'll unbolt this piece on the ground. You can see the holes I've drilled in it. That will bolt to this 3/4 inch rod. So we'll unbolt it, and this steering wheel will slide out towards you. I think it'll be a handy setup for like when it goes to powder coat and stuff. Tell us about this cart, please.
It's dope. It's done. It's rideable. We're about to start it. It's jacked up off the ground. It's 25 horse purge.
It's got, what is that, normal size horse? What kind of horses are we talking about?
We're talking about Shetland ponies.
Oh, we're talking about baby horses.
Yeah.
Ew. So Randy's buggy is ready to ride. Of course, there's a million other things to do. You got to put the boots, you know, to guard the steering rack. But there's what the steering rack ended up being like. It's fully removable. So I used 3 spacers for a 30 series torque converter out there. Use that bearing flange. We're actually going to weld on, or sorry, not weld, but put a clamp to keep this bearing from ever working out on the back, because it can, you know, it's pressed in there, but still. Then this U-joint setup bolts on right there. So if you ever want to remove it, you just take those 2 bolts off and the steering wheel will pull out. Then it goes down. We welded 2 different splines together for that and the Go Power Sports rack. The steering is super easy. It isn't like it's in a bind or anything. We have a lot of steering, so that's good. Daniel made up this brake bracket, and we just bled it out, so that's all good. We have the engine on. We haven't made a battery hold down yet, so we're using a bungee cord. But carbs on, all that stuff. We got a wiring harness. We're using this key switch that I like a lot. I'll put the links in the video description. This is one of the best key switches, and it's just sitting up there. It'll be okay. So we're gonna throw you on tripod. The carb will need tuned before we ride it. So I'm just gonna basically start it, hear it run, then I'll tune the carb. And it's got an open header, so I'm gonna slap an RLV on that real quick. So yeah, you wanna zip tie that down, baby daddy? Oh. Alright, so we're going to take Randy's cart around the woods. It does need geared down lower. We're going to end up doing a 72 tooth instead of a 60, geared at a 7.2 to 1 ratio, and I think that's going to wake it up a lot. And he still has room to grow on this engine in horsepower. So yeah, let's take her for a rip. And the carb still isn't really tuned. Oh, forgot to turn the fuel on. a lot around here, so track should be good and wet. Well guys, thank you so much for watching today's video. I know this cart isn't like crazy exciting, but it is a 6.2 to 1 ratio with 25-inch tires, so that's what's holding this cart back, as well as the Hemi Predator that it has on it only has valve springs, no governor, a billet rod, and that marine cam, and a 34mm flat slide, so it's not going to make a ridiculous amount of power. So what we'll do the next time you see this cart, we're going to put a 72 tooth. That should make the gearing really nice on it. And we're going to probably, if it'll fit, we have a Vegas Kart 625. That's I think it's a 22 horse engine with 35 foot-pound of torque. And we can put a better carb on it and get even more out of that. So we'll see what that will do on Randy's cart. But thank you so much for watching. Make sure to check out the parts links in the video's description. They do help us to continue to do these videos. And if we ever forget to put a part, make sure to remind us, because it's a lot to go through and remember. But hope you guys had a great New Year's and a great Christmas. We can't wait for this new garage to get done so we can do these builds even faster and multiple builds at a time. So, but yeah, let us know what you think about the Yerfdog. I think the suspension handled really well. The back shocks probably could use a little softening, and the front shocks could use a little stiffening. So we're going to see what we can do about them front shocks. But overall, the cart is super nice. Now it's time to finish it out after playing with 625 on it, and then we can get it to powder coat and get it out of here. So thank you guys for watching. We love you, and God bless.